today we are checking out making 100% edible geode rock cake. That sounds cool. I love geodes anyway, and making an edible cake that looks like one sounds awesome. So let's check it out.
Geodes are hollow rocks that look like a plain old rock on the outside, but on the inside, they are full of beautiful, super pretty crystals. Have you ever seen a geode wedding cake? They were very popular around 2012-ish. Somewhere around then. Now, I'm not a tiered cake kind of gal, so I made my own version of this cake trend. Rather than incorporating geode accents to a tiered wedding cake, I just made a cake that looks like a geode. Natalie Sideserf here of Sideserf Cake Studio, and I make cakes that don't look anything like cakes. And I'm gonna show you how I made a geode cake.
Cool.
Here I have some isomalt nibs. To create my geode crystals, I'm melting isomalt, which is a sugar substitute. It's commonly used in place of sugar to make sugar-free candies. Here I have a 6-inch round cake pan, and I am filling it with parchment paper. The parchment paper will keep the isomalt from sticking to the pan, so I can just pop it right out. Then I just pour in the melted isomalt.
I like how she's giving all this direction, like with her head in the corner there, and explaining the process. This is really useful and interesting so far.
Then I just rock it until the entire bottom is covered. I let the isomalt cool down, then I pull the parchment away from the isomalt, and the other side is foggy and matte. So I place the isomalt down, foggy side up, and I bust out the torch. Do I own a nice little handheld torch? No. I own this beast, which I feel uncomfortable using pretty much every time. Side note, parchment paper can burn and catch fire. So please, if you ever do anything like this, you just want to take that parchment paper, get it out of there before you start torching. It worked. It totally is less foggy, and I didn't burn down the house. It looks so nice. Let's destroy it. To create shards, I just dropped it on the table and it shattered. I really like how some of these pieces have nice pointy sharp edges, and I'm definitely going to use some of them in the geode cake. But they are a little flat, so I need some crystals with dimension. And the solution is rock candy.
Ah, yes, rock candy. I should have guessed. That was a very smart thought for a geode cake, rock candy. I like this so far. She's very entertaining. She's got a lot of style and makes her explanation very interesting. So let's keep going and see.
Lots of rock candy. Just look how crystal-like these are. Lots of shiny flat sides. This candy is beautiful. Rock candy comes in chunks, so I need to break it up a bit. I'm trying the chisel method with a butter knife. This is not working. This isn't working either. This candy's hard. How about I place it in a Ziploc bag? It didn't work. I wanted it to break, not crush. I just have these like crushed corners now. I refuse to give up. Maybe I can do something with those rock candy sticks. I just give them a little bend, a little twist, and they're breaking off super easily. After all that. All right, so I easily broke the rock candy off of the sticks, and it looks gorgeous. They 100% pass for real crystals. Real crystals.
Which is because they are basically sugar crystals, right? Very cool. Yeah, no, that is really good idea. And I like the way she broke it off the stick. That was the best. Though the method of smashing it with in the bag was so funny. Goodness.
Check out this mug. This is a Sideserf Cake Studio mug. You can get one too at shop.sideserfcakes.com.
I see a little promo in here.
Images on both sides. And get your own. Rock candy aside, it's time for cake. A geode is a hollow rock with the crystals on the inside. So now I need to carve this cake into the shape of a hollow rock. I carved the cake into a half sphere and covered it in green buttercream. So now I'll place it in the fridge to firm up. I ventured outdoors and I found a couple rocks.
I almost thought she was going to say she was going to put real rocks in her cake. That would be alarming if we wanted to eat it, actually.
That I thought had pretty interesting texture, and I'm going to use those to create a mold. I just mix food-safe molding putty, I roll it out, and I place it on the rock. Then I let the mold set for about 20 minutes. While we wait, let's roll out some gray modeling chocolate.
gray modeling chocolate? What's
I didn't
that?
mix this chocolate completely because I like the look of the swirls. Those swirls look rock-like, so I'm keeping them. Now I'll peel the mold off of the rock, and it's looking good. Now I'll just clean the rock residue off of my mold, and then I'll press it right into my...
Ah, interesting. So she made a mold which she put on the rock, and then it looks like she washed it and cleaned it, which is good because you wouldn't want dirt in your cake. And then she's got this chocolate she's going to put in there somehow. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Let me rewind just a little bit and hear that again.
And it's looking good. Now I'll just clean the rock residue off of my mold, and then I'll press it right into my chocolate to create the rock texture. Then I ever so gently pick that modeling chocolate up. And
how did that work? That mold must have been like partially hard. I guess like rubber maybe, because she used it to press it into the chocolate. I didn't think that would work that way. I thought it was soft like clay and would destroy if she did that, but I guess not. Very interesting. It must have firmed up, I guess, and made like a rubber kind of mold, which makes sense, that, thinking back here. Very cool.
Ever so gently pick that modeling chocolate up, and I place it on my cake.
Okay.
I work the chocolate around my cake, and I trim away any excess chocolate. Now I flip the cake over, and I carve out the center. I'm creating a...
I do love the sound effects, I gotta say. She's done a marvelous job. And this cake sounds delicious. I mean, it's made of chocolate, basically, and cake and rock candy. Yum.
Crevasse. I'm cutting it into a grid pattern because that makes it easier to pull out the cake chunks. Now I cover the top in modeling chocolate, I trim away the excess, and I blend. I'm shaping the rock a bit with sculpting tools. It has a rough, rocky outside edge and a flat inner layer. I even use some rock candy to add some texture. I like this ripped look of the chocolate that happens when I drag that loop tool across the edge.
Okay.
They come in a few colors, but when I think of a geode, I think of the purple geodes. Dark purple in the center and lighter purple towards the edges. I'm painting the inside before I add the rock candy because I just want to make sure that none of that gray shows through. When I swipe with the paintbrush, you start to see brush strokes. That's not really the look I'm going for, so what I'm doing is I'm going around with a poofy brush and I'm just dabbing. The geode crystals are purple because they are amethyst. This cake goes out to all of you with birthdays in February because amethyst is the February birthstone. It's time to add the rock
Amethyst is very pretty. It's
Before
one of my
I place the
favorites.
candies on the cake, I'm brushing food color on one side of each of the pieces and keeping the other side food color free. Then I place the candy onto the cake, painted side down. That way the food color doesn't dull the shine of the rock candy outside. But it still looks like a deep purple because the painted back shows through. And I'm working my way from the center out. The rock candy sticks to the chocolate really easily. You just kind of smoosh it in. I'm using a few of those sharp, spiky shards of isomalt that I made earlier along the top edge of the cake, kind of like a border.
That works really well. Like it.
Then I fill in the space between that dark gray edge and the rock candy with some light gray modeling chocolate. I'm trying to sculpt this light gray modeling chocolate nice and flat. So
I had no idea that modeling chocolate was a thing. That's crazy. I had no idea. Wow. It's like, I guess that's how they make different really intricate chocolate sculptures, maybe. That's fascinating.
So that it looks as if this geode was opened with a saw. The transition from the dark gray modeling chocolate and the light gray creates this wavy line that actually looks really neat. Looks like a real geode. The painting is really gonna help make this geode look realistic. I have green and ivory gel food color and white and brown powder food color. There's really no reason why I chose to use gel and powder food color. I just kind of grabbed them off the shelf, but both work really well. So now I will paint the outside of the cake. It's always fun to paint things with a lot of texture because all that food color just kind of seeps into all the creases and it just looks cool. I'm hand painting a jagged line along the outside edge of the cake. Because on a real geode, you can see the layers of rock and they alternate between light and dark colors. I just wiggle the brush while I drag it along the edge. Just wiggle and drag. I added a few white areas too. It's so pretty.
Wow. Was the final
there
product,
you have it, a geode cake. I really like this cake. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, being that I don't typically work with isomalt or rock candy.
Wow.
But it really does look like a geode. No clue how cutting this cake is gonna work out since there's all that rock candy in there. So let's give it a try.
Ooh, she's gonna cut it. Oh my gosh.
Aw, that was great. I like that. What an interesting cross section this cake has. If you like this cake, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel right now because I post a brand new cake every week. And I'll see you next week for another cake.
I like this channel. This is pretty cool, I have to say. Man, there's a cruise ship cake. That looks really exciting. I enjoyed this. Thanks for coming me on this delicious journey. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.